What is up, party people? It's Friday. This isn't our normal day, but my schedule was not going to allow Thursday. I thought about maybe doing it Wednesday, but with the time difference, this just made a little bit more sense. So we're here. I landed from Vegas about an hour and a half ago. After my trip out there to cover the celebrity Green Beret shooting event. It was awesome. It's such a cool organization. Special Forces Charitable Trust is the name. Essentially what this Essentially what this organization does is let me just turn that off. They raise money for Green Berets and their families. So while they're deployed, they can have help financially, they can have resources, especially when the Green Berets come back. They have this other program that allows them to essentially get help anonymously. So for therapy, for counseling, insurance reasons, things like that. So great organization. I love working with them. We had a ton of great celebrities, some returners. I'm sure you guys saw Shawn Johnson, gold medalist uh, at the Olympics for gymnastics. Her husband, Andrew East, was there as well, former NFL player. Chuck Wicks, he's a country music artist. Dan Henderson. Um, Raquel Pennington, just a whole list of really fun people. So it was a great couple of days out there. We have an SF family member and have donated to it. Cheers. Yeah, it's awesome. If you guys want more info, let me get what their website is. I think .com. Let me see. Oops. Maybe it's just Special Forces Charitable Trust. Yeah, just Special Forces Charitable Trust.org. And then you can donate, you can request support. They have all of their programs. Beyond the Battlefield is one of them. It shows the events. And the event that I was covering, they do allow spectators to come. So that's really cool. This is only the second time that they've allowed spectators. So they had a similar event. They're trying to do 2 a year now. This was the 6th one. And before it was at Staccato in Texas. This time it was Staccato in Vegas. But before that, I think it was at Fort Bragg or it was at one of the military bases, which is really cool because they get access to, different things that aren't at a normal shooting range and can do more intricate and dynamic stages, but then getting on the base and all of the security that goes with us is a little more complicated than just getting clearance at a shooting range. Oops, sorry, we have 2 SF family members. Haha. Oh yeah, no. Great group, great organization. And then so on day 1 we go out there and they figure out who they're on the team with. So it's a group of Green Berets and then it's a group of the celebrities and each are on. So 1 Green Beret, 1 celebrity. And on day 1, it's just a range day. They get to learn what their stages are. They can practice them almost as many times as they want. There's 4 different ones and they can learn from the Green Berets. Now, I'll preface it with I would say all of the celebrities that were out there this weekend have worked with guns before, whether they've come to the event and competed before, or you have the guys from the TV show SEAL Team. So you had Tyler Gray, and he served in the Army and he was a Delta Force member, and then AJ Buckley, who's an actor. And it was really interesting because he's not military at all, but he plays a SEAL on SEAL Team. And Tyler was telling me like, hey, keep an eye on AJ because he actually has learned some things from what they were taught on set and he's able to implement them on at the range that weekend. So that part was cool. But yeah, so they have a practice day and then the actual event takes place. They get scores. Yeah, where is Caleb? I did see that Caleb he turned on the notification to remind him that this was happening. I got a notification on Instagram that he turned on his reminders. So Caleb, you should be in the chat because I know you got notified. So what the heck? But hey, Jeremy, it's good to have you here. I know Fridays can be kind of touch and go. People, are getting done with the work week, maybe have plans, maybe have families. But maybe if people are busy, they can at least watch this and have our live with Laur, not miss a week. I didn't want to do that to y'all. I'm here. Okay, good. Thank goodness. Now all is right in the world. So yeah, that was a ton of fun. Then after the competition, so it's a blind leaderboard all day long. They don't know how they shot in relation to their competitors, and basically, like, if you're in one bay doing the stage, everybody else is in the other one. But I mean, it's all steel targets, so you can kind of hear when they start and maybe start your own timer. But honestly, I think they all should have been able to watch, because stages like that, you can't really game in the sense of, oh my gosh, I watched them do this, I'm going to try that. It really just comes down to how good of a shooter are you? Um, yeah, but it also was interesting. I forget who was saying it, but they were saying that they've never used a red dot before. They've only used iron sights. So they were struggling with, like, looking right into the red dot, which you shouldn't look at the red dot. You should look at the target, and then the, red dot lines up with the target. But anyways, it was a lot of fun. After that, we have this big dinner where Chuck Wicks, the country music star, he does a roast of all of the celebrities. So the team pulls together like funny highlight clips of them. He softly, some soft, some not so much, makes fun of them, and it's just a good time. I hit my target from 5 feet or 5 yards. Which one? These ones, I mean, they didn't have any long range stages. I think the furthest that they shot was about 70 yards, 70 to 80 yards. So nothing super crazy. But before that, I was at a tactical games event so I was at Vegas for the Celebrity Green Beret event. Before that, I was like 7 hours north in Reno, and it snowed all weekend. Not hard snow, but cold. It was like 32 degrees, snowy, windy, cold. And I truly don't know how the competitors did that, because I mean, I was holding my camera with a bare hand and my fingers were numb, but my camera is not metal, where they, had to pull the trigger on a gun. They had to, have axle bars, so metal on their hands. And that had to be really challenging. But everybody was still in good spirits. So even though it was very cold, not the weather that I would pick for anybody or myself, it was still a good time. All good people. Yeah. But Vegas isn't my favorite place. Just if I was going to pick a place to go, Vegas probably wouldn't be it. And I'll actually be there 3 times this year. So I was there for SHOT Show. I was there for this event. And then me, my mom, and my sister seeing the Backstreet Boys concert at the Sphere in June or July. But the hotel that we were at was called the Circa, and it's on Fremont Street. And every night when we were walking to dinner, we would walk through Fremont Street. And let me tell you, like, you gotta walk with a purpose. Otherwise, you will get distracted by everything that's going on there. So I'm curious if anybody in the chat knows anything about the I'll put it in air quotes, entertainment on Fremont Street, because I mean, some of it was just women with their tops off and, their nipples covered or whatever, collecting money. There were some women that were whipping people. But then there were other people that had really big crowds and music going, and it seemed as if they were going to dance or do something. And then we waited there for, at least 5 minutes and nothing happened. So my question is, do you have to pay some kind of city tax to be an entertainer there, or how does it work? Like, if I wanted to, do a magic show, could I just show up and start doing it and put a little bucket and collect money? I'm curious. I'm sure I could Google it. If you guys know, let me know. Or if you want to Google it, go ahead. Where do you say in Vegas? Gamble, win anything? No, I didn't gamble at all. But so first, it's kind of funny. So we originally were supposed to be at the D Hotel, and yes, that is a pun, and everything is very D-centric. And I got there first because I was coming from Reno, so I stayed. Oh, when did I fly in? Monday. And whatever, I didn't get in on Monday until I don't even remember. Maybe noon, like 1:00 by the time I checked into the hotel, got work out. Magic. Yeah, I actually do know some magic tricks. Fun fact. So, yeah, I get to the hotel, whatever, like, yeah, it's kinda trashy, but trust me, I've stayed in worse places. Honestly, the worst place that I've ever stayed, though, was in Michigan. When I was covering an event in Michigan, the hotel that I was staying at, there was, like, blood spatter stains on the carpets, the windows had, like, trash bags over them because the windows were broken. It's like, Michigan, nothing really happens there, so I feel safe, but if it was in this hotel at a different location, I definitely wouldn't have felt safe. But anyway, so that's my rock bottom, and I didn't even move out of that hotel. I just sucked it up and, took a million showers after that. So I wake up the next morning. So I go to bed early because I'm tired from working the tactical games event because we're up so early because, they normally start the event at 7 a.m. We're typically 30 to 45 minutes away. Got to get there early. So it's always an early wake up time. So I went to bed at like 8:30, 9:00. I wake up to like 20 missed text messages, and it's the people who I'm working with at the Special Forces Charitable Trust. And they're like, oh my God, this hotel is disgusting. We cannot stay there. We're moving you and everybody to the Circa. And then they thought that, did Lauren get our text messages? What's happening? And I texted them the next morning. I was like, guys, I just went to bed so early. Like, I'm happy to pack up my stuff and leave. And yeah, then the Circa was super nice. It also had that, what is it called? The pool that I posted that I was at. Circa Vegas. It's like the biggest, what do they call it? The biggest sports pool. Stadium swim. Okay. If y'all are out there and there's like a good sports game on, this is where you want to go. The soccer game was on while I was there, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. You're sitting there in your bathing suit, you're getting some sun, I'm sipping my water with electrolytes, eating my snacks, and yeah, it just was super cool. And it's open till like 11. So I heard them talking on the television about how it gets really hyped for March Madness. And, you can't even get a seat unless you go early because everybody's going there to watch the games. And it's great. Kicking off TGIF. Yes, I am, Greg. Thank God it is Friday. This robe, besides when I work out tomorrow, this is going to be my weekend fit. But anyway, so stadium swim, it was great, but rules are interesting. I'm happy to follow rules, but I'm not so happy to follow dumb rules, like you can tell okay, it makes sense. Don't bring a knife into stadium swim. Okay, that absolutely makes total sense, and I will abide by that. And maybe we're going to get on a little tangent right now. Lauren, what's the purpose of your show? To sit here and hang out with people and chat with folks in the comment section. Does there need to be a really purpose? Do I need to have like a dedicated thing? We're just chilling. This is Lauren's live with Lauren's world here. So people ask questions, I answer them. I catch people up on what I've been doing. We chilling. Do you have a question? Continuing. So I go to this pool, and so first they confiscated my tripod. Oh, no, that wasn't the first thing that they confiscated. So I had my bag. It had all of my gym stuff in there because, multi-purpose. And they take out my jump rope. okay, I can get, I suppose, how you could use that as a weapon, but also kind of weird. You see that it's obviously a fitness bag, but okay, whatever. Second thing that they take out is my tripod. So not even the camera, just it's about that big, it extends, whatever, portable tripod. Okay, I suppose you could use that as a weapon. And then he's like looking at my laptop and like, I guess I'll let you bring this in. What am I going to do with my laptop? Bro, I'm here to just work and chill. Like, Lauren is spicy tonight. Yeah, Jenny, I'm tired and if somebody asks a question, I'm not, there's no sugar on anything today. We're just going to cut right to the chase. So, here we are. Jeremy says this show is to find me a suitor, Andrew. It serves dual purposes. I thought maybe I would find a man at Stadium Swim, but no, that didn't happen. It looked like there could have been a couple bachelor parties, but they were in the private section that was reserved and that the peasants like me couldn't get through. So alone I sat, but it was a great day. It was so nice. I love to work from a pool. I mean, you can't beat that. So it was a great day. Oh. The New York Times was at the Tactical Games event. And I was quickly reminded why I got out of, like, I know that that's not local news because it's the New York Times, but I was reminded reasons that I wanted to leave. And unfortunately, it was very obvious based on the article that was written about tactical games from this individual that maybe the headline was written before this person got an idea of what the sport actually was, which is super disappointing, but it is what it is. Good evening, Omar. Brett, hello. Is anybody doing anything fun? It's the weekend. It's basically the weekend, right? I'm drinking a nice cold Diet Coke. It's delicious. I have to ask, does Ryan Fisher buy followers? Is that a controversy right now? What am I missing? Or are we now using the chat just to ask killer questions? That is not what this channel is for, people. Ay, 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 ay. Oh, I didn't even change my settings on this. I don't get why that doesn't save. Okay, anyways, I'm trying to think what happened in CrossFit news this week. I know that obviously the individual semifinals are taking place. And then I saw some of the stuff with the team stuff wrapping up. We have some athletes doing tactical games regularly at our gym now. Oh, Jenny, that's awesome. I saw that Shay had posted some things with, maybe it was Mark. And then I see I always get it wrong. Alex or Alexis. Her husband has competed a couple of times, which is really cool. So I love that. Jenny, are you going to compete? You totally should. It's so much fun. And if you don't have all the gear, you can always borrow stuff from people. And Raquel Pennington, the MMA fighter that was at the celebrity event this weekend, she actually is just signing up for the team event that I'm doing. And yeah. Ooh, Red Robins with the kids, living the high life. Love it, Jeremy. Waiting for the update show this evening. I don't think it's controversial. I was curious. Yeah, Shay, Marco. Yeah. Not Marco. Daniel Ware, Alex, and Matt. Oh, so fun. Yeah, honestly, you guys should do the so I think that there's still openings for the Texas event that is the weekend of the 23rd. Yeah, so that's the one I'm doing, but there's another so there's team divisions at every single event, at every single tactical games event, but there's 2 in the year that it's I would say okay, let me start over. There's team divisions at every tactical games event. All of them except for 2, individual programming is or the individual divisions, the programming for those is the priority, and then team is kind of just like not, not as not as big of a priority because it's more like they wanna keep the team division at all of them because it's a nice barrier to entry for people who maybe don't wanna compete in individual. But 2 events out of the year, the one that's in Mountain Home, Texas at the YO Ranch, the one coming up, and then there's one in New Hampshire. Team is the priority. So kind of think of it as, Tier Wadapalooza, how you have your elite athletes who are individual athletes and they're teaming up. That's what you'll see at these 2 events. And the individual division, super small, that programming is secondary for those. So you guys should definitely get a team for one of them or even just like looking to next year. I would definitely need to brush up on my shooting, but it does look interesting for sure. Maybe need to spectate one first. Yeah, that would be cool too. I'm trying to think how far you guys would be from Mountain Home, Texas. So the range that is at the YO Ranch. I mean, once you're on that ranch, you basically don't leave. Like all of the not spectators, all of the competitors will stay on site. They have housing and stuff because to go from like one end of the ranch all the way to the end is like between 30 and 45 minutes. It's massive. I remember last year thinking, "Oh, I'm going to get settled into the house or whatever and then I'm going to run to the grocery store." And then I got there and was like, "Oh no." Whatever is in this house is going to be what I'm going to need to get by with. John Young, welcome. Hello. Good to have you too. But yeah, spectating first or even volunteering. That's also a great way to learn kind of how the stages work and how scoring works and things like that. But it's super fun, a great community, truly like some of the best people that I've ever met have come from tactical games and CrossFit. I mean, both of those spaces are, I would say, like the majority of the circle of people that I hang out with, that I chat with, etc., etc. Says 4 hours, not bad. Yeah, it might even just be worth, like, if you have a free Saturday or Sunday during it, even just to come, or if you know anybody that is out that way and you wanna stay with them or something like that, but it's super cool. Normally, they have some kind of long run of some sort. They mix between whether it's just your plate carrier or your plate carrier and a ruck or full gear or full kit with your pistol belt, your pistol, your mags in there, your rifle slinged. I would say they haven't done full kit in a while, which makes me a little bit nervous that they're going to do it for the YO Ranch because I'm bad enough at running. There's always a time cap for the run though, so that's good. You'd be down to volunteer. I'll have to see if they plan to go to that one. Yeah. That one's great. Normally there's, you know, um, 1 or 2 food trucks. We have a coffee vendor that comes, and then just your typical vendors like Under Armour typically has a booth because they're the title sponsor. Border Patrol is normally out there. Magpul, just some of the vendors and sponsors. So but nothing like if you're thinking of a CrossFit competition where they have a big vendor village, it's definitely not a feel like that. I would say our nationals is a little bit more like that, but when it comes to vendors and booths, it's definitely tailored down to be much smaller, but still a lot of fun. Okay, so we had a little debate. I put a question on Instagram today because I had the exit row, and I always wonder this is why isn't I haven't even looked at what people's responses were, but why isn't there some kind of requirement in the nicest way because, it seems like, oh, if you I mean, me, I have status with United because that's what I fly almost every time, so, I can pick my seats or whatever, more legroom, so I'm gonna pick there, but also you can pay for those seats, and I just wonder, maybe they just think, like, if the plane's going down, we probably don't even need the people in the exit row to help anybody because we're just SOL, but sometimes I'm just like, "Is this person strong enough to open this door? Is this person intelligent enough to help yourself and everybody else in an emergency?" I just feel like maybe I'm wrong. I'm happy to be wrong, but I feel like maybe there should be like a little bit of a barrier to entry to have the exit row. I don't know. Are they live rounds? Yes. You shoot probably a little over 300 rounds throughout a tactical games weekend between the 2 days. Do you like covering CrossFit or tactical games more? They're different but similar in a lot of ways. I like both of them for different reasons, I like I like tactical games because since it's still a smaller sport that's growing, I always get floor access. Always. And also because, tactical games contracts me to be their on floor media person or whatever. So the access that I get to the athletes and the content that I can do with them is a little bit more intimate than when I cover CrossFit events. It's always very dependent on, is it the Rogue Invitational? Is it the CrossFit Games? Is it Wadapalooza SoCal? Is it just a semifinal? Like, what is my role going to be there? That fluctuates a lot. And what is the access going to be like? Fluctuates a lot. I can even remember that I would say I think only one time, yeah, at the games last year was the only time that I was allowed in the athlete warm-up area. Every other time, I am never granted access to the athlete warm-up area, and it's not even that I wanna be in there, but for athletes, it's much easier for them to be able to go get on a C2 bike, cool down while I interview them. So it's more of like, I don't care whether I'm in there or not, but the athletes prefer it in a lot of ways when you're doing these interviews. So those things have been very frustrating over the last couple of years. But on the flip side, what I like about covering CrossFit over tactical games is I do have the opportunities to be on live broadcasts and be in the booth and have the headsets and do what I would call like the closest to real television, real sports broadcasting. And that's where my like biggest passion is calling play by play, being in the booth, living in the action, and also talking to the athletes. I love interviewing the athletes and getting their personalities out. That's a ton of fun too. So they both have things that I love and they both have things that I'm like, I wish that I could have this. So having both of them is a lot of fun. No take on the actual stance. Okay, thank you, Greg, for answering. There are definitely people that have no business being in those seats. If shit goes down, they are doing nothing. Yes, Jenny, that's how I feel too. But I also think like if shit's going down, I think we're basically all dead. The YouTube shorts are stellar, quick info, and I was intrigued to watch more. Are you talking about tactical games or which? What are you talking about specifically? Oh my gosh, somebody on Instagram said an Enneagram test to sit in that row says if you're a helper or not. Interesting. Somebody else says, I think that to myself every time, especially when people nap. Oh man, on the flight home, I napped the whole way. So maybe I have no business being in the exit row. Absolutely. Enough with the frail nursing home shoe in the SeaWorld attractions. Ryan Miller. Oh my god. You must be this tall and able to physically act and take action. Rant over. Okay. Ryan Miller. You should definitely have to test out for this job. I thought you had to agree to help if you sit there. Yeah, you have to verbally agree, but I mean, who's going to say no? They're like, we got more leg room on this 4-hour flight. Nobody's going to say no. Come on now. Yes, I think about trauma response and how some people would freeze. Yeah, that too. I mean, who knows? Maybe I could freeze. I'm not saying that I 100% should be somebody to pass whether I sit in the exit row or not. I just thought that it was an interesting thought-provoking question. Tactical games to shorts. Okay, great. Yeah, I always also like to know what people wanna see more of with the tactical games stuff, because since like their website they've redone their website and it does a really good job with having different sections to explain, educate, and give resources, but I personally, I'm a visual learner. I felt quite in the dark until I actually went to an event and could see the flow of things. So with the stuff on YouTube, I just try to think of, okay, if I had no idea what was happening in the sport, how could I help educate people? So I'm always happy to, if anybody's watching those videos and they're like, "Oh, how does this work?" or "This would be helpful if you had a talking point about that." Um so yeah, let me know if there's anything that you would prefer to see. I lost 2 nails today. Very sad. Very sad. I was gonna get them done tonight, but then I was like, "Nope, we're gonna do the live show. We're gonna do it." And here we are. What do you guys think about the programming for the affiliate individual semifinals? I saw what did I see? That Proven is running like a showcase kind of thing. That's probably the wrong word. Not a showcase because these athletes are genuinely trying to qualify, but what were they doing? I don't know if people are able to come watch them as they take these on, but it is cool. I think that that's a huge benefit to being part. Oh yeah, it looks like people are in the background, but maybe it's just affiliate members and family members. I'm not sure. But it is a huge benefit to be part of a training camp during this time when you're doing these in affiliate semifinals and having people to push you. There are 2 people in my affiliate that were doing them. One, he is going to Torian Pro in person. So, um, he was just doing them to help and give the other person, I forget who the other guy's name is, he's new, but just to help push him and give him an idea of where he would be. Top-notch programming. And then we have one. What's the first one? Is TFX the next one, or is there one next weekend? The French Throwdown, I think, is next weekend because that's when the first World Fitness Project is, and they're on the same weekend. Yep. So we'll have French Throwdown, TFX. I'll be at that one, and then the next one will be Syndicate, Torian. I think a couple other are that weekend, but yeah. May is always the crazy month. Chaos, but it's good chaos. It's the fun stuff, the stuff that we live for. Hmm. Oh, did I mess up the timing on my Instagram of when this was happening? It does, yeah. That's what happens when you schedule things in the wrong time zone. Whoopsie. Jake will be at the French Throwdown. That's exciting. What kind of content does he want to get while he's there? What he gonna do? I hate time zones. Really hoping we see a bunch of behind the scenes on these workouts. Yeah, me too. Amazing programming. I do miss the live weekend with CAC President Taylor. lovers Jason, Dallin, and the Iron Hog. Oh, yeah. That's too bad. Yeah, I'm curious what kind of content we'll see come out after this weekend, or if any media was or is at Proven or any of the other training camps. Anybody know if any media like got access or went out to cover it? I'm just thinking a couple years ago, maybe it was 2 years ago, I went out to Proven for quarterfinals to do some content with them. But then I remember after maybe if after that year, Tracy! Oh my god. What a time to be alive. My bestie Tracy is here, y'all. Who remembers when Tracy and I did a live with Laur together and we spilled all the tea? Now that was a good time. Mhm, mhm, mhm. I'm not sure Daniel Shafee invited him out. We'll soon see. Yes, we will. If you get some good content, send it my way. I would love to check it out. But yeah, I don't know how close people are keeping their scores to their chest, how close to their chest they're keeping them, or if people are like open about sharing them or people seeing them do the workouts and things like that. I haven't really heard one way or another, but I also haven't inquired. So I don't know if anybody else has. Okay, anyways, we're going to keep this one short and we are going to wrap it up now. I just wanted to do a quick catch up, see who is in the chat today. We will be back to regular scheduled programming. Will you be coming to Rogue this year? Yes, I 100% will be coming to Rogue this year. I didn't last year because it was the same weekend as Desert City Classic, which I committed to a year in advance once they had their dates. But I do have I have that on my calendar for this year. Would any High Rocks athletes crack top 50 in affiliate? I mean, who specifically? Um, Miriam, Miriam, Miriam. I'm sorry, I forget which one it is, but she used to be a High Rocks athlete, and she's gotten very good. Crack the top 50. I don't know. The top CrossFit athletes are already so good that but I would say, hold on, let me rewind. I would say that if there was a year that we saw, I don't even want to say wild cards, but people qualify that maybe like wouldn't if it was standardized programming or the same format as last year, this would be the year because there's so much variance and there's more opportunities to travel if you have the means and compete and qualify for the game. So we could see, yeah, I would call him like a wild card, or maybe a dark horse. Hunter possibly, depending on programming. Otherwise, I don't see it happening. None of the elite 15 males, the females would stand a better chance. Yeah, I mean, even I know Megan Jacoby is not, but even when I was talking to her about her, I obviously didn't talk to her about Olympic lifts. I don't know if she does Olympic lifts, but her powerlifting numbers. Oh no, she did talk to me, I think, about her clean. I don't know if she snatches though. But anyways, I do remember talking to her about like her deadlift, her back squat, her bench press, and maybe a clean too. And her numbers like would be like enough to fall into games level range. Again, everything else outside, we're not talking about anything else, but based on her lifts, I mean, she would be in the mix with CrossFit Games athletes. Megan trains like a CrossFitter. Heavy Isabel ruins them all. Would be dope if somebody challenged Hunter to do event 5. What one was event 5? Hold, please. Wait. Why? Oh, there they are. One. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. The row, toasted bar, rope climbs. Mm. Mm. I think he would do really well on that one, actually. That could be fun. Somebody should send it to him and place a bet. She's big on thrusters, cleans, etc. Okay, yeah, I thought I've seen Megan clean. That's why CrossFit will keep the title of fittest. Okay, I am going to wrap it up now because it's been a long travel day. But like I said, I wanted to pop on here. I didn't want to miss a week. We will be back to normal programming next week, Thursdays, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. If there are certain topics that y'all want to cover, feel free. Or if there are guests that you want us to start bringing live on the show, we can arrange that as well. Thanks for dropping in. Happy Friday, everybody. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you next time. Good night.